Get it, baby. GMGP. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. It is Thursday, March 12th. I was going to say 4th. March 12th, 2026. Y'all decided to wake y'all asses up with myself and my dog, my brother from another mother. Y'all know who it is, Jordan Richards. You can find him at your boy Jay Rich on X. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay every Monday, every Thursday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the channel. We ask you to do one thing because I know you have a good time, whether you're tapped in live or you're watching after the fact, listening on the train, on the plane, on your way to work, on your way home. Hit that thumbs up button, like the content, like the stream, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications. And Jay, I forgot to tell the people on Monday. I forgot to tell the folks. Come join our community for FREE. Free 99 gets you access into our Discord community. It ain't the full thing. It ain't the full thing, so don't be asking why you can't see this and why you can't see that. But you can get in there and engage with a bunch of dope people. We have almost 800 people. 800 people in there. Jay Rich talking NFL draft, talking fantasy football, combine, WWE, Formula One racing, whatever it is. They're posting meat pictures in there, Jay Rich. Have you seen the channel? Post your meat. Barbecue. I'm talking barbecue.
I was very worried when I saw the title, Post Your Meat.
I'm talking about barbecue, smoked meat, stuff like that. Get your mind out of the damn gutter. We got the people in the building. What's up, Fredo? What's up? What's up, Adam Zaff in the building? Jeremy in the building. Kevin, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yikes. A little too early for old GQ. That's a little too early. Jay Rich for me. Sacramento Kingpin in the building. Quality J. One only Tyler Trout. What's going down with you? HK Survivor in the building. John in the building. I see Honcho in the building. Mr. Gout here. Dynasty Rehab. Jason in the building. We got the crew in here. What's going down? And Jay Rich did just post a link right here in the chat. So if you click that and you have Discord, boom, you'll be invited into the server. Free tier. Get to check out all the content, listen to some stuff, and then hopefully you'll be like, hey, I can pay $7. I want the rest of this good stuff. But thank you for being here. We appreciate y'all pulling up. We got a lot to talk about today. But I got to say hello to you first, Jay. How you doing, baby?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We had a very fun free agency period for anyone who missed it. You guys did a full recap on day one and then some few smaller discussions for day 2 and 3. A lot going on, a lot to discuss. We're obviously going to hit on a lot of the major topics today. And Ray, you were on with Pat Mayo yesterday. Multiple pieces of content. Look at you.
I was.
Making it big once again. Back with Mayo. You know, big fan of Mayo. But everyone go check that out on Mayo's channel. It's also collaborated on Ray's channel as well. So you probably find it if you are sub to Ray's channel. But yeah, man, lots to get into. Where do you want to start? Because I know that you guys talked to Maxx Crosby yesterday. I don't know if you want to start with Crosby, you want to go somewhere else, but the Crosby stuff is absolutely insane, but I love it.
I mean, there's Maxx Crosby, and because we streamed early in the morning on Monday, it was like everything happened after the show, so it feels kind of, I'm like, did we talk about that? We didn't talk about Mike Evans. We predicted some stuff, but we didn't talk about it. We weren't on live when Kenneth Walker actually signed with the Kansas City Chiefs, so I mean, we got to kind of just talk through a little bit of everything. But yes, let's start with Maxx Crosby, Jay. That is the news. That is the stuff heard around the world. The drama. NFL is the best drama on TV. And you see it right here. The Baltimore Ravens, they backed out, Jay Rich. They said, nah, too much. They sent that Dynasty trade. It was accepted by the other player. The league chat roasted the Baltimore Ravens. Roasted them for about 4 hours, and then the Ravens called the commission and said, hey, I didn't mean to press accept. You know, it was an accident. I know I did it 18 hours ago. I know it was 3 days ago, but I didn't mean to do it. Can you veto this trade? Can you reverse the deal? And because nothing was official, Jay, it didn't go through. There was nothing to reverse because nothing was done in the first place, technically. Yep. When you heard this, when you saw this, as we have got to digest this information over the last couple of days, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about this bad business practices by the Ravens? Was there something that the Raiders knew that they tried to send a Trojan horse away, right? Hey, something's wrong with his knee. We're trying to get up out of here. The Ravens knew he had a knee issue. Everyone knew he had a knee issue. And I don't know if you heard, one of the doctors, a part of that proceeding that failed that medical, came from Dallas. One of them Dallas Cowboy doctors, Jay. One of them.
Interesting.
I'm not here to say anything. And then Dallas made some moves, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But what were your thoughts about Baltimore backing out on a major, massive deal with huge implications, draft picks, players, all of that?
I mean, first I was shocked, right? Because there's the two different sides of this. It's the moment it happened, and you're like, oh my God, what? Like the Ravens lost a pass rusher in free agency who signed with the Patriots. We knew they had a big edge problem. It was supposed to be solved with Crosby. And you're like, but they're backing out of the deal? And it's the Raiders announcing this, not the Ravens. The Ravens didn't come out. They didn't say anything that night. It wasn't until the next day. DaCosta went to the podium yesterday at 5 o'clock. But when the Raiders informed everyone that the Ravens backed out, you're like, okay, but what's going on here? They cited the medical. They cited the arthritis. They said there was cartilage that they didn't disclose previously when they talked about the trade.
Right.
Whatever the reasoning may be. But it's the fact that they signed Trey Hendrickson the next morning for $28 million a year, $60 million guaranteed, 112 overall, that makes you think, I get it now. Because here's the thing for me, right? If you're a Raiders fan, you're pissed. You don't need Maxx Crosby. Those 2 first-round picks would have been extremely valuable. But if you're Baltimore, or if you're even a neutral observer across the NFL, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened in years.
Jay Rich, the greatest thing. Talk about it.
Think about this. This is the NFL, people. I don't want to hear about bad blood. I don't want to hear about bad business practices. This is the NFL. Do whatever you have to do to get ahead. And the Baltimore Ravens said, you know what? Take your 2 first-round picks. Take our center that you signed for $21 million a year, and we'll take those picks back. You can take Crosby back, take his $30 million, and we will take Trey Hendrickson. We will take our picks and probably draft Vega Ione with that 14th pick, right? Because they need an offensive lineman, right? And that was the target even for the Raiders. So you know what? I'm fine with it. If you ain't cheating in the NFL, you ain't trying. It's a little shady. It's not the best look, but you know what? This is the NFL, and we've seen a lot worse. We've seen Sean Payton with Bountygate. We've seen Bill Belichick with Scott Spygate. We've seen Deflategate. And this is on the field stuff.
Ooh, you cooking this morning, Jay Rich.
Nothing in comparison.
You are cooking this morning.
Absolutely love it from Eric DaCosta and the Ravens. Amazing. I love it. If you're the Raiders, you're pissed. If you're everyone else, you're like, it is what it is. May have ruffled some feathers. That's okay. Because in the end, we're playing to win football games, and we're going to win more games with those first-round picks and Trey Hendrickson than Maxx Crosby. And that's the truth.
And you heard it there, right from the man himself, at your boy, Jay Rich. I mean, it's hard for me to disagree with what you said. Of all the things that have happened over the last 10 months in the NFL, 5 years, 10 years, this is bad. We have to be fair negotiators here. This needs to be a fair process. Honor your word. I get that side of it, right? But man, there's some wild shit that happens in the NFL week in and week out, year after year. I'm not gonna. The Ravens played a dirty game. They absolutely unequivocally had buyer's remorse. I'm not buying that there was something in the medical that they didn't know about when the doctor looked at it. They had buyer's remorse, and I've been there. You're on mute, Jay. You're on mute. You're on mute.
But the thing is, I don't think they had buyer's remorse. I think they just made the smart decision because when they executed the trade, it allowed this opportunity to take place where free agency opens, Trey Hendrickson's still available. It's really, to some extent, the Raiders' fault for not getting this done as quickly as possible. Because when you have a trade executed over free agency, that's a big issue, right? Because of what just happened. And I do think that the timeline is very interesting, but I think you could say they had buyer's remorse if you want, but I would not be shocked if they did and they said, you know what? We can just fail his physical and go get Trey Hendrickson.
But that's buyer's remorse, right? You went to the lot, you bought a vehicle, you got a couple of days to take it home. I don't want this shit, take it back. They brought it home and was like, it's nice, but I don't need it. I could get something a little cheaper.
No,
payments are a little lower.
A better deal.
I see a better deal, right? And I can get the 2024 model all souped up for a little bit less. I think they had buyer's remorse. You can call it what you want. I don't think it was the knee. I don't think they uncovered some hidden knee issue that they didn't know about. I just believe Hendrickson wanted $30-something million. He had a price. It was lower than what Maxx Crosby's was. They needed an edge rusher, and they pulled the trade back. It was in the inbox. I know we would agree in principle, but I'm pulling it back. I don't want to make the deal, and now then they turn right around and sign Hendrickson. They didn't give a damn what you thought. They didn't care what you thought or anybody thought. We'll send him back and we'll go sign Trey right now. We'll go get him from Cincinnati right now. So now Maxx Crosby's back on the Raiders. They don't have that extra. They don't have those extra picks. Baltimore still has their first this year and their first next year. I mean, wasn't it a better deal for Baltimore? I think Max is the better player, no doubt about it. But hey, Trey, come in here and get us 10 to 15 sacks if you can, right? For a lot less money than we had to allocate to Crosby, and we still have our picks. It's a dirty game. It's a dirty game, but it's football. It's all nasty. I mean, if we're being really real, high school, college, NFL is all nasty. It's all nasty business practices every step of the way.
The business of football is nasty as hell.
While you can frown upon it, while you don't have to agree with it, and I see a lot of people in the chat, they don't like your take, Jay Rich. They said, spoken like a true Pats fan. Spoken like a true New England Patriots fan. I'm just like, it is what it is. I mean, it is. That's the risk you run. I guess you should have traded him a long time ago. Hell, they could have done this before, right? Couldn't they have done this a month ago and it processes and goes through before all the Hendrickson free agency stuff?
Again, we don't know exactly when, the offer was made, accepted, etc. So we will give them a bit of grace there. But yeah, I think understanding the timeline of transactions, we know that there is that, incubation period, whatever you want to call it, the due diligence period. But having that occur during free agency is problematic. And sure, they assumed they'd honor their word. The Ravens were like, screw our word. We want Trey Hendrickson.
Absolutely.
And it is what it is. Like, I think it's just maybe a learning lesson for every other GM, Raiders, Ravens, whoever, that maybe that's not the time to deal a star player because something like this could always happen.
Trey Hendrickson goes to the Ravens. How do you think this trade, or the trade that did not happen or that was backed out of, how does this impact both of the respective teams? Because now Maxx Crosby himself said, hey, I'm committed to Las Vegas. I'm back. I'm committed to the Raiders. I talked about it with Mayo. I was like, I don't know how this works out. The only couple of instances that I can recall of late that this has happened, I think somebody brought up Jair Alexander, but it's a completely different sport. I remember when DeAndre Jordan, the trade, the Clippers, the Mavs, it didn't happen. It got backed out. Well, there's a DeAndre Jordan one too, like a DeAndre Jordan to the Mavs type thing. And then another NBA one, Dalton Kenneth, last year when the Lakers traded Kenneth, then it didn't go through, and they sent them back home, and then it didn't really work out.
They failed Mark Williams' physical.
Yeah, they failed the physical. Happened, right? Yeah, they failed the physical. How does this end up working out for the Raiders and for the Ravens? Because now they're saying that the Bears are in potentially on Maxx Crosby. I was on with Connor Allen and Pat Mayo yesterday. He was like, I'd be ecstatic if the Bears gave up whatever to go get a player like Maxx Crosby. The big loser in this is absolutely the Raiders and the perceived value that Maxx Crosby could go for. There's not a chance in hell somebody would trade 2 first-round picks for him now, not after you just saw that get kind of rescinded or backed out on. I think his value got hit. There are a lot of teams that are going, I'm lowballing you. I'm not giving you 2 damn first-round picks. You failed his physical, yada, 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 this and that. Where do the Raiders go from here?
Well, I think that's the number one question. And to some extent, even today, it's still unanswered, right? We don't know if they're going to trade Crosby. Now, his post on Twitter was like, I'm back. I'm going to be a Raider for life, all this stuff. I hope that doesn't mean that they're actually planning on keeping him, because they could still get compensation for him that, may not be that 2 first value, but it's still going to be better than, I think, having him on the roster with where the roster's at, all that kind of stuff. So I think it's still in flux as to what it is. You talk about the issues with the health. We understand the issue with the health. I am with you. I think that his stock is definitely diminished. Would a team still pay 2 firsts? I doubt it. But I mean, even if you get a first and a second for Crosby, losing his salary, all those various things, like it's probably still a fine deal. It's just not as good of a deal as you could have got with the Ravens, right? But if you're the Ravens, like I'm not going to say they're as good as they would have been, but I do think the combination of the pick and Trey Hendrickson is probably better than what you get as an upgrade from Hendrickson to Crosby. Assuming they draft a reasonably good player at 14, they're probably better off with the pick and Hendrickson than with Crosby. So really it just comes down to is what's going to happen with the Raiders now. If they keep Crosby, I think they are massive losers. If they trade him for a first and a second, let's say, still lose the salary, maybe not quite the same compensation, but close to it, they're not winning, but it's not terrible.
I don't think it's a first and a second. Let me ask you this. You're a Patriots fan. They give up 31 and something to get him. You'd be happy with that? Just trade that?
I honestly would, yeah.
Yeah.
Like as much as we need offensive line, if we could give up 31 plus, whatever else to get Crosby, that would be a big win for the Patriots.
Yeah, I don't know what
I don't think they would.
I don't know what the something else would be, but
it would be hefty, right? Because you got to figure it was a mid first and then probably a projected late first going into next year versus a late first this year and then probably another late first next year.
So the fallout from all of that was they signed a boatload of players or agreed to deals with a boatload of players, and I haven't looked, but I'm assuming all of those ended up getting done. There was still enough cap space for the Raiders to sign everybody that they committed to, but that was the initial. So what happens to Malcolm Kuntz that they brought back on a 1-year deal? Tyler Linderbaum's massive record-setting center deal. What happens to all of those guys? They traded for Johnson, the cornerback DB from Buffalo. Yep. What happens to those guys? But it appears that they still had enough cap space to get those guys under contract and move forward. But that money for Crosby is back on the books, and I do think that they're probably still looking for somebody to trade him to. We'll see what the value ends up becoming, but what drama the NFL is, Jay. Let's keep it rolling and talk about a few signings that happened right when we were done with the show. We talked about it. We predicted it. Said, oh, yeah, Mike Evans will be back in Tampa Bay. Nuh-uh. San Francisco. Big Mike, San Francisco. How you feel about it?
It's a good fit, right? I think that Brock Purdy will use him very well. He could probably play outside or a bit inside if they need him to. I think it's still interesting to see, what is the plan for Evans, because he's clearly the best receiver there, but how are all the other pieces going to kind of fall in line with him? They also re-signed Jake Tonges, right? Because Kittle's going to be injured.
Kittle's
so they got
out.
him to a 2-year deal. Yep. So that will kind of help fortify that offense a little bit. We know Christian McCaffrey's going to be there. But I like the fit with Evans in San Francisco. It wasn't expected at all, but I think as a touchdown threat for Brock Purdy, that's probably what he needs more than anything else, because they have struggled to run the ball a little bit with Christian McCaffrey, especially in the red zone at times. There is still the Trent Williams of it all, but getting Mike Evans is a big step up for San Francisco in terms of their pass catchers.
Yeah, don't want to get that Mike Williams, but yes, Mike Evans, Big Mike, Tampa Bay. I ran some early projections on Evans and his usage and what that might look like in San Francisco. And it was solid. It wasn't 1,500 yards or anything like that. Yeah. I think it was right around 1,000 yards for Mike Evans this year. Target share very close with Ricky Pearsall. So we'll see how it works out. But Mike Evans, and he said money wasn't an issue. Mike wants a chance to compete. He wants a chance to win. I think it's an excellent addition for the 49ers. He's going to provide a vertical threat. There's a lot of injury stuff going on in Frisco, right? You got Mike Evans in those hammies. Ricky Pearsall can't stay healthy. And then what's the electricity center that's right next door?
Substation,
The substation, about to shoot them bolts in old Evans' hamstrings. Hopefully he can stay upright. I think this is a big upgrade for Brock Purdy, and they need pass-catching weapons, and I don't think they're done. Maybe not through free agency, but you got to probably add somebody throughout the draft. Juwan Jennings still available as well, and then I believe Kendrick Bourne took his talents to the Arizona Cardinals. So still some work to be done for the San Francisco 49ers. Did Kenneth Gainwell sign by the time we got off? Because I'm just going to go to Tampa Bay. I don't know if any. I went back and looked at I don't think any of the guys had signed on Monday morning.
Because we had to wait till noon for them announced, right?
Well,
they were probably already decided. But.
Kenny Gainwell, Jay Rich, he goes to Tampa Bay. So since we talked about Mike leaving, Kenny Gainwell goes to Tampa Bay to pair up with Bucky Irving. Fitz, thoughts? How do you like it?
It's good, right? He's a clear Rachaad White upgrade, right? I think that's kind of when
so
you just look to what they lost versus what they gained. He's definitely a Rachaad White upgrade from what they had previously. I'd be curious how that split will work with Bucky Irving, especially coming off a fairly injured / out season for Irving last season. I think they're a great pairing together. I think both could operate as the one on any given week. And I think just the versatility they can provide offensively is great for them. So I like it for Gainwell. Kind of wanted to see him back with the Steelers because he was actually pretty good on the Steelers last year. But I think in Tampa Bay, he'll be more than fine. And I think he's a great fit with Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I love it too. I think that especially, Evans is gone. Godwin to be healthier this season. Hopefully we get him at full health. Year 2 of Ikbuka. Still have some ancillary pieces. They did bring back Cade Otton, tight end. So there's a little value boost for Cade Otton. But his role as a pass-catching running back and his ability to run the ball out of the backfield with some of the issues that Bucky Irving had this year, staying healthy. It was a shoulder injury. It was this. He had some mental health things that he was dealing with. This is some good insurance because Bucky's not the biggest running back, and he has had some durability issues. I think this is a great fit in pairing with Baker Mayfield. Love it for Kenneth Gainwell. Love it for Tampa Bay. They needed another option to throw the ball to, especially since Mike Evans is no longer in the building. Jay, where do you want to go next, man? There are Daniel Jones, dimes, man, bag chasing. This dude is a professional bag getter. Daniel Jones, what was his deal? $50 million a year, something like that. 44 a year for Daniel Jones.
Was 2 years, $88 million. $88 million. Up to 100, I believe, if he starts enough games.
Talk about it.
Ray, I feel like this is more of a question for you.
Okay.
Because to me, this is like one of the stupidest moves I've ever seen a team make. But you always say that you can't let your quarterback walk out the door. Because what are you going to do without him?
What are you going to do?
But what if your quarterback has a torn Achilles?
Well.
And you made the great decision to, I guess it didn't franchise tag him. They transition tagged him at $37 million, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then they gave him a salary bump on top of that. So I think my question to you is what does Daniel Jones do from here? Is he incentivized to come back this season? His salary, I believe, I haven't seen the guarantees on the salary, whether
Jordan
next year is guaranteed.
Jordan Schultz said he gets 50 this year. 50 this year, and it's the largest 2-year contract in history.
I don't understand it. I don't get it. I hear they traded their first round picks. What are they supposed to do? I think when you take the job security side out of it, which is huge, I'm not trying to excuse the fact that these guys have jobs, they're trying to protect all these various things. But when we're talking about actually taking this team from where it is to the next level or beyond, you need to have a player that you can rely on. And I don't think you can rely on Daniel Jones, and especially paying him all this money. You're at this point, what he's going to offer you, especially in 26, he's not worth that money. And then going into next season, you're paying him again, which to me makes absolutely no sense. He may come back and not be very good.
I didn't tell you that the teams are making great decisions. I didn't say that they're optimal. I said it from the jump. The moment they traded him picks, they committed to him. It was as clear as day. It was as clear. I'm not saying they should have done it. I see some people in the chat. Look at Cousins and A-Rod coming off an Achilles injury.
I know.
It's grim, Ray. I keep saying it. Jay, I tore my shit, right? And granted, the medical center in Mesquite, Texas probably was not as high of quality as the one that Daniel Jones gets to go to in rehab. But it took a full year to get to feel like that thing was better. A full year. I don't think people understand how critical that Achilles tendon is for all things that you do. Laughing, coughing, getting off of the shitter. It impacts every single yawning. The scariest thing I did during recovery is yawn. You just do not want to yawn. It feels like your whole leg is on fire. And they're saying when does he come back? He tore his Achilles towards the
late in
the
the
back
season,
late
week
in the
11
season.
Or 12, I think.
Because after week 12 he tore it, and we're prepping for him to be ready for week what?
But that's the other side of it. They're paying him a full
$50 million
level NFL contract for a good quarterback, and there is no timetable for return. Not that there necessarily should be at this stage, but like we don't know how long it's gonna take for him to come back. And Ray, if they start the season because Riley Leonard started and they're like 0-4, 0-5, why are you gonna even rush him back? Because how many more games are you gonna win with him?
It's going to be Riley Leonard because they're not going to put Anthony Richardson on the field.
No,
anybody but A-Rich. The Colts won't. That ship is sailed. Get A-Rich the hell on up out of there. It's going to be Jones or Riley Leonard, but this is the bet that they've made. They've got Alec Pierce back. What happened afterwards? They traded Michael Pittman. So you've got a Riley Leonard, Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, Tyler Warren led offensive unit to start the season potentially, and you've committed $88 up to $100 million to Daniel Jones.
I just don't get it. It just, like, the Pierce signing, okay, you brought Pierce back, 4 years, $114
And how do you think about that? Because you didn't want would you rather your team sign that Pierce for $28 million a year?
No.
Still out on Pierce.
Okay, but I think that based off our conversations, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I was right about these contracts. Not necessarily the Pierce contract, but when you told me Wan'Dale was going for 25 and Doubs going for 23, 24, like that wasn't even close, right? And so,
what did Wan'Dale get? How much did he go for?
He got 18.5.
Okay.
And then Doubs got 17.5, I believe. And again, the guarantees are.
I was dead ass wrong on those ones.
Like Wan'Dale, I think was like a year and a half guaranteed, so they could even cut him next year if they wanted to. And Doubs, I haven't seen the guarantees on Doubs yet. Maybe they're out by now, but I haven't seen them yet. But either way, I like Pierce. And again, it was just, are you going to pay the premium for Pierce? And then after the first day, it was doom and gloom because I didn't get Pierce. But for the Colts, it's like, why is your focus keeping Alec Pierce and Daniel Jones together like they're Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill or something? Like the way that these two guys have been talked about, like, oh, they got to play together. We want to keep them together. Like, I just don't understand it. Like, I don't see how this is going to elevate your franchise. I love Pierce. I think he's a great asset. Trading Pittman, opening up the offense for him is great, but you still need a quarterback. And so you're paying him all this money now, and who's going to be throwing him the ball next year?
Riley Leonard.
We'll see how he plays. He actually played all right.
He played good in that. He played good against Houston, but that's one game. That was one game, but it did look good. Let's keep the hype train rolling, Jay Rich, because I know you love that Daniel Jones sign. And talk about K9. Talk about Kenneth Walker, Kansas City. We talked. I don't think we even mentioned Walker to Kansas City, did we?
No, I don't think anyone had Walker to Kansas City because the whole story was Kansas City has no cap space. They can't sign anybody. They have to cut players. They have to restructure. And then out of nowhere, it's like the moment noon hit,
boom,
Kenneth Walker from his personal account.
I'm out of here.
Chiefs Kingdom. Here I come, and the fantasy community lost their freaking minds. Because the Super Bowl MVP was headed to Kansas City to play under Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy. Travis Kelce re-signed for $12 million on that one-year deal. Patrick Mahomes going to be back probably by October, I'd say. They project week 1, but by October, he'll be back. It's just very, very interesting. And the question that I still don't have the answer to is, does this mean that they will not draft Jeremiah Love?
Yeah, he's not going to be there.
Etienne,
I don't think he's going to be there.
But why do you think you're so certain?
I feel very. You know who I think he's going to Tennessee. I think he's going to Tennessee, and here's why. Every move that Tennessee made throughout free agency, they signed John Franklin Myers, and there was another edge rusher they brought in.
Former Niners and former.
I'm just every position they locked up a receiver because that was another one of the common draft pairings. Will they take Lemon or Tate or Tyson at 4? Will they take Bain or Bailey at edge? They signed 2 defensive ends, 2 defensive line players. And I'm not saying that's all, not saying they're done, but every sort of need that was projected for Tennessee early, they addressed it in free agency. I mean, they went out and spent some money in free agency, upgrading some offensive line, getting some defensive linemen, 2 D ends,
2 D linemen. John Franklin Myers, Solomon Thomas, and Jermaine Johnson, who they obviously traded for. They brought in Carnell Flott. They brought in Alontae Taylor. They brought in Joshua Williams. They brought in a long snapper, brought in a kicker. Obviously,
what didn't they bring in? They ain't bringing no damn running back, huh? I think he's going off. I think he's off the board at 4. I think that the moves that the Saints made, the moves that the Chiefs made, I don't think that they feel he would be there at 8 or 9. I think the overwhelming thought is his class is a little weak at the high end spot. I'm going to go get the best damn player that I think is in this class. And Jeremiah Love is probably the top player for a lot of teams. I don't think there's any chance in hell he gets through Tennessee. And if he does, the Commanders will take him. The Commanders lost. They lost Chris Rodriguez. Who do they have on roster right now? Is JCM?
Ja'Cory Cross-America, yeah.
That's it?
And then I think, is Eckler still on the roster? Probably.
Does it matter?
Again, we don't know. We don't know what he's going to be and if he's going to play and
does
all that
not
stuff
matter.
come back from injury. But
I think they believe they will not take Jeremiah Love at 9. No, I don't think he'll be around for him.
I don't think he'll be there, which is
how high? How good is this fit? How good is, because we talked about it all season on this show. Chiefs haven't been the same type of offense since they had Kareem Hunt out of Toledo. Old Kareem, not old Kareem Hunt, but the
Kareem Hunt.
The Kareem Hunt. That Kareem Hunt. Yeah. Now they have the best running back since that guy. And when they found Isaiah Pacheco early, his rookie year, I mean, the offense did change when they had a physical, explosive type running back, and they just have not had that. They have been piecemealing that thing together with the old version of Kareem Hunt. And, it started during that Super Bowl run with the Damian Williamses. Back in the gap, it was Charkandrick West. I'm going back a little further. But now they finally have their most explosive and dynamic running back since Kareem Hunt. How good do you think Walker can be in this offense? Top what running back?
That's tough because
he still doesn't catch a lot of passes. Those hands are a little stony. They're a little stony.
I do think that's the other side of it, is that how much pass catching will he do, or do they expect of him in this offense? And are they going to have someone else to kind of take the pressure off him in that regard? And then there's also the Mahomes of it all, right? Is when does he come back? Because we know this team will be drastically different when Mahomes is in the lineup versus when he's not in the lineup. And so for me, it's like, I think Walker can be really good. I think he could play easily at the level of a top 10 running back. I mean, he was probably the best running back in the playoffs this year. And obviously, if you're in the playoffs, there's probably some pretty good running backs, and they all played at a high level, and Walker was probably the best one of them all. But I think the other side of it too, Ray, is not just Mahomes, but it's them reworking this offensive line. We do know that there are some things they have to do with this offensive line to get it to where it needs to be, and they do have some work to do on that front. And depending on how they approach the rest of free agency and the draft and various things to kind of get that to where it needs to go. But those two factors, because he's a running back, are going to determine how good he can be. I think he can be a top 10 running back, though, in the NFL.
Dill says top 5 easily.
It'll all depend on the offense and what that ceiling looks like.
Give me 5, not speculations, confident they're gonna be better this season than Kenneth Walker. Gibbs
and Bijan. For sure. I think Genty, are you talking fantasy, you talking real life? Like, I think Genty will be better than Kenneth Walker will.
Okay, it's kind of, if they're good in fantasy, they're probably.
And then
good
Christian
in real
McCaffrey
life.
will be, right. I think Omarion Hampton could be better than him because the Chargers.
You saw who they just signed. They just signed a running back today,
right?
They just signed. The Chargers just signed one today. Did you see that?
Keaton Mitchell. Yeah,
Keaton Mitchell. They brought back. Didn't they bring Kamani back? I think Kamani is. I think they brought him back or retained Kamani Vidal.
Yeah, they brought in Kohler. They brought in Penning. They brought in Strange.
Oh, I love what the Chargers have done.
They brought Pipkins.
I love what the Chargers have done. I love what they've done.
They brought in players to help the run, blocking tight end,
block,
fullback,
block,
right?
Block the ball, block.
That's it.
Hey,
so
Mitchell, poor man's Etienne in this offense.
Under Mike McDaniel, he probably will be. Right? And then it's like, you could look to James Cook. Probably going to be better than Kenneth Walker.
You'll take James Cook over Walker. Okay,
James Cook, right?
No one gives Cook any love like that. So I don't.
Right? Kyron Williams could be better than Kenneth Walker.
Talking about the NFL leading rusher, right? Didn't James Cook lead the league in rushing? No one gives him any respect.
Henry. We'll see how they look. But again, if Lamar's healthy for the whole season, they should be much better. It's just going to depend on how the offense looks, right? And we don't know what that is right now. And I think people almost forget that this team wasn't very strong offensively last year. Like, they did really struggle. And when Mahomes was in the lineup, they still struggled. So I think Walker will help a lot of that. I think he absolutely has top 10 ceiling. If you want to say it's top 5 ceiling, I'm fine with it, because if this offense hits their highest highs, they could be the best offense in the NFL. And we know that. It's just depending on what level you get. But I think there's a few running backs that can outperform him fairly easily. And it's because they've done it before. And we've seen it in their offenses, and their environments aren't changing, and they're going to be great once again.
All right, Jay, I'm scrolling up to see officially, we did get it official. And I'm telling you, it went downhill once he got this new hairstyle. But Tua Tagovailoa's got a new home. Tua's got a new home. Atlanta.
Why are you getting on Tua for the braids? Does he even have the braids
I'm not
anymore?
Y'all are laughing, but I said it the moment he got his hair braided, I said it's downhill. I don't like it. He started feeling himself. He was talking shit about his teammates at the podium because he's got the braids, right? The pop smokes, right?
No, he's got the money.
He's got the
guarantees.
He got the guarantees, and he got his hair braided so he can say whatever he wants while he launches interception after interception. Is this the most flaccid quarterback room in the NFL? Michael Penix and Tua, two lefties.
I'm scrolling all the teams in the NFL right now to find a worse one.
Oh, and I don't even want to say I don't want to say it's the worst. It just doesn't get you excited at all, man. I'm not going to say this analogy. My wife might be watching. I will leave that for after dark shows, but it just doesn't get me excited, Jay Rich. It doesn't inspire confidence. I don't hate it for Atlanta. He's $1 million. He's dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. So I don't mind it from Atlanta's standpoint at all. But I
think he fits Stefanski's offense fairly well too.
We said he fit Mike McDaniel's offense too.
He did. He did fit Mike McDaniel's offense. The wheels fell off. I mean, we saw, I think the sad part is with Tua and that Miami offense is we saw how good they could be, and they still weren't a very good team, right? Like, Tua leads the league in passing, and like, they're a pretty good offense, but like, as a team, they still weren't very strong. And so we'll see what Atlanta decides to do. I think Tua's a fine signing for them. Obviously, very cheap. I think he can operate the offense, and it'll depend on what to do with Michael Penix, right? Because a lot of the moves they've made,
they say it's an open competition here with Penix?
Yeah, but it's and we don't know how much Matt Ryan likes Penix, because we know he's the guy calling the shots. And I'm sure it is an open competition, and we'll see who wins it. I would not be surprised if it's Tua, because we don't know what Penix's health is going to be as well. So we'll see. But yeah, Atlanta not looking so good in terms of their prospects this season right now. But their offensive line should be healthy next year, and it was pretty banged up this year.
Yep, we had some other stuff, some other signings. Jermaine Illuminor, right tackle for the Giants. He's back. That is a big underrated signing for the Giants, because they didn't have anybody listed on the depth chart after him, and he got a pretty big deal from the Giants. So Jermaine Illuminor back, that will help Jackson Dart. That will help that rushing attack. One of the underrated signings that I loved and I talked about with Pat Mayo were the Giants going out and getting 300-pound fullback Patrick Ricard. I thought that was a nice signing by the Giants, who also went out and got, I like me some Isaiah Likely, Jay Rich. Isaiah Likely in the building in New York now. I like it. He is reunited with Harbaugh, and it brought me back to, there was a 2-week stretch this past season where Likely made some huge plays in the games for the Ravens. The one versus Cincinnati where he ran it down to the goal line, the ball got punched out. And then there was another play where he caught the touchdown.
In the end
zone,
they
knocked it out, and then they said it was incomplete. I remember listening to Harbaugh, because everybody on social media was killing Isaiah Likely. This dude's a bum, get him off the team. And I remember Harbaugh went out of his way to talk about how they wouldn't have been in the position without him. It wasn't his fault. Like, he really went to bat for his guy. And then you see at the start of free agency, with Theo Johnson on the roster, which he did not draft, they go out and he's bringing back guys that he's familiar with. Patrick Ricard, we're going to give Isaiah Likely money that makes him the 3rd highest paid tight end in the NFL. Jay, talk about Likely's fit in New York.
It's interesting, right? Because they still got neighbors there. They obviously lost Wan'Dale Robinson.
They lost Wan'Dale.
They have 1,000 tight ends, which again, they are
No,
in
they
New York
don't.
now.
No. Bellinger's gone. Bellinger's gone. It's Theo Johnson.
But don't they have like 4 tight ends still?
Who? I don't know who. I know they've got the 3rd highest paid tight end right now. So talk about him. Give a damn about the 5th string tight end.
I like it, but I only like it because of Harbaugh. Like, I'm assuming he has a plan for likely he's going to utilize him a certain way, but I don't necessarily know if it's going to work in the way that I'd hoped. Jackson Dart did do a great job throwing the tight ends last season. I know it was a favorite position for him. Now, Neighbors was out for a lot of the year, so that didn't really
Neighbors
help.
was out, yeah.
But we'll see how they utilize him. He should be probably the second option in the offense and kind of go from there. But yeah, they still have Theo Johnson and Chris Manhertz on the roster.
Oh yeah, that Manhertz
utilized to some extent, right? But yeah, likely will be the primary option, and we'll see what they try to do at the receiver position because they seem like a team with just Darius Slayton and Poe Collins is the 3rd listed receiver on their depth chart. Well, definitely have some work to do there, but we'll see what they do.
Well, they got Malik Neighbors, right? When Neighbors is back, when Neighbors is healthy, I like the signing by the Giants, bringing in Isaiah Likely. I thought it was a nice little pickup there. Your boy Rashid Shaheed back. Rashid Shaheed back in Seattle. They brought him back 3 years, $51 million, almost $35 million guaranteed for Rashid Shaheed. Jay Rich?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good signing by them. I'm sure he could have got money to go elsewhere as well. He's a bit of a specialist, it seems, at times, and hopefully they find a better way to utilize him. But he's a good receiver, and I think he's deserving of that money. Maybe a bit more than people were expecting, but we know he impacts the game both as a receiver and as a returner as well, so he has that versatility to his game. The Seahawks losing a lot of players, but retaining Rashid Shaheed is a big one for them. Because
we'll see what Sam Darnold does. We'll see how it works for Darnold.
We'll see.
How you feeling about Seattle this year? They're losing a bit.
I'd say I'm a little nervous. I mean, we're gonna find out how
you
good of a coach Mike
You
McDonald
loved that
is.
Seattle defense. You loved it all year. You were a big fan of that defense. Big fan.
I mean, they lost Rick
good.
Woolen, right? They brought back Josh Jobe. They lost Kevin. No, Byard came from Chicago.
Chicago.
But yeah, I mean,
it's nice.
They
1 year
lost
deal.
Some players.
1 year deal.
That's
a really good deal for Kevin Byard.
But we'll see what Seattle does. And again, I like McDonald a lot, and I think the defense will still be fine. But we'll see what they do offensively. And I think we're going to find out. Like, was it Kubiak or was it just this is the system like McDonald wanted? Because people forget he fired Ryan Grubb because he didn't think he was doing a good enough job. Right? He fired him, got rid of Geno Smith, all these various things. Like, maybe McDonald does have a pretty good idea of what he wants to do offensively and is a bigger part of the offensive game planning than we give him credit for simply because he's a defensive guy. So I'm curious how that all works out, but I like it for Rashid Shaheed. It's a good fit.
Jay Rich, I didn't see one single living soul have this player pegged and penciled to this team. Not one, Jay. And of all the offensive fits so far, I really like this one. Travis Etienne to the New Orleans Saints. I didn't see a soul talking about this happening.
Oh, really?
I didn't see anybody talking about it. I did not. Of course you did. Who did you see talking about it?
No, it's just because he's from there, right?
I know he's from there, but I didn't see anybody talking about that fit.
About like the homecoming for Etienne going.
What do you think about
it? It's interesting, right? Because I think that Kellen Moore will have a plan for him. You know, I've been a big fan of him since he's been in New Orleans. It's obviously working for Tyler Shuck.
Big fan.
You know, there's another one. If Love was there, like I couldn't blame them for taking Love and having the pairing of Etienne and Love together in that backfield. Like, I just think he can do everything they're going to need the running back to do in that offense. He's not quite the same as Kamara, but he has a skill set that can mirror some of the things he does well. So I think it's a great signing. It was a bit more money than I thought he was going to get.
That's what I'm saying. He got
a
nice deal.
Just behind Walker and AAV, and it's a 4-year deal for like $50 million. But it's a good signing. It pairs him with Tyler Shuck, right? I think it's going to be a great fit for what they do offensively. And it's just how do they work the rest of the receivers now? Because we know they could probably use a couple pass catchers. The defense was improved. The offensive line should be good once again, if not better next year, depending on who they draft. Like, I do think this is a really good signing for the Saints. And while it wasn't expected by a lot of people, it definitely elevates their offense because their biggest issue last year was their inability to consistently run the football because Kamara just wasn't healthy.
Yeah, we've got one right here. Tootin' wheels up. Talking about the Jacksonville backfield. I would pump the brakes on wheels up, but I do think that what Jacksonville did last year, drafting 2 running backs, Tootin and LaQuinn Allen, they're probably going to run out some version of a committee. I would think that they would bring
Chris Rodriguez in.
They brought Rodriguez in, and that's what I was going to say. You bring in another veteran running back.
And DJ Dallas?
Yeah, we're not. That's a special teams. DJ Dallas is more of a special teams guy. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. While everybody is going to steam up Tootin, I would love to get some cheap Chris Rodriguez. Like, give me the bruising running back that he's not exciting. He doesn't cost you anything. But I think all three running backs are going to be in play in Jacksonville. And the reality is, this is T-Law's team. It's Trevor Lawrence season. I mean, that's what it is. It's the running game is what it is. But at this point, it's T-Law time. Trevor Lawrence, let's go.
Era, right?
I'm not going to say it's a
golden generation in Jacksonville.
They're going to lean on their franchise quarterback, as they should. And I think between Tootin, between Allen, and between Rodriguez, they've got more than enough rushing power to get it done. They may not have an elite guy, but they've got more than enough to be competitive on the ground. I think that those guys are fine together.
It feels very L.A. Ramsey to have this kind of backfield, right?
Sure.
Because when they drafted Kyren Williams, you're like, yeah, they got some guys, but like we don't know how good Kyren Williams is going to be.
You don't know.
NFL,
you got to give him a chance, though.
Give him keep bringing guys in that are fine. And I don't know if you saw the interview, like the random Zoom interview from back in, I think it was 2023 or 2024, when Liam Cohen was at Kentucky. And he was talking about Chris Rodriguez, like in like the most.
Oh, I didn't even know the kid. There it is. There's the link.
It's Chris Rodriguez when he was at Kentucky.
Wheels up, Rodriguez.
The NFL. And Liam Cohen was his OC, and he was talking about him. But yeah, so that was a funny link that someone posted on X yesterday. And so I watched. I'm like, oh, of course he was at Kentucky with Cohen. Now they're back together, and he's just a back that can get the job done. Like for years, people have said, how is Chris Rodriguez still on rosters, on the roster, off the roster? He's like a bubble guy in every way, and now he's randomly gets this 2-year, $10 million deal, and he's probably going to be at some point on this offense and producing for the Jags, which is good.
Couple of quick hitters before we go to break. Your New England Patriots gave former Jets first-round pick Elijah Vera Tucker a 3-year, $42 million deal. Jay Rich, so you got some you got some
left
help.
Guard, hopefully.
If he's healthy, that will be an upgrade. Rico Dowdle is taking his talents from Carolina to Pittsburgh. I like the fit of Rico Dowdle in Pittsburgh with Jaylen Warren. Think that is good. Devin Lloyd, all Pro Bowl caliber off-ball linebacker, $25 million going to Carolina. I thought that was a great deal for them as well. And then Dawson Knox, back to the Bills. I know a lot of people were kind of, hoping Dalton Kincaid could get some more run, but they're bringing that Dawson Knox right back to Buffalo. All right, Jay, when we come back off a break, we got to talk Geno Smith. We've got to talk about the rumors with Kyler Murray. Your New England Patriots signed a wide receiver. We got to talk about it. And some other late breaking or late developing news that we'll touch on from free agency. A lot of stuff to cover. So Wake Up with Ray and Jay. We appreciate you tapping in. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to the show. This Wake Up with Ray and Jay every Monday, every Thursday, right here on the channel, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you can't catch us live, check out the replay or subscribe to the podcast feed. Wake Up with Ray and Jay, anywhere you get your podcast at, so you can listen to us, turn on those alerts, like the content, subscribe to the channel, check out all of our other content on DDFFB, Fantasy Football Takeaways, Scott, Shane, Brandon, Ty, Gabe, and myself over there. All things fantasy football. And later today, right after this, my boy DP at DP_NFL, Damian Parson, we are going to talk some NFL draft and how some of the things that have happened throughout free agency might impact the NFL draft. We may actually do a mock. Jay, I think we'll do a mock. I'm going to tell DP. DP doesn't know it, but we'll probably do a mock talk.
Hopefully DP is watching.
Like talk through it and do a mock. He'll be fine when we pull up. But there was some news that just happened, Jay Rich, as we were on break. Barry Bonds. What about Barry Bonds?
Yeah, my buddy texted me that Barry Bonds is going to be in MLB The Show 26, which is crazy because the asking price that he set was like insanely high to be in the game, and so that's why he's never been in. But we'll see if it's true. The game drops tomorrow, so we'll see if he's actually in it or not. But the
Barry Bonds.
He's going to be in it. Apparently
Barry Bonds and MLB The Show. We like the show around here.
Crazy.
The boys play it. What about Bam Adebayo's 83? You want to talk about that? 83 points for Bam. He just had
It's pretty funny that
he shot about 50 free. He shot 33 pointers and 50 free throws, but he got to 83. Bam got to 83. Best performance you've seen this year?
Best performance I haven't seen, definitely. But the funniest part about that was the next day I saw a tweet. Someone's like, "Man, I didn't want to believe it, but I actually watched all of the game." And Bam Adebayo definitely earned those 46 free throw attempts. I'm just like, oh my God. It's just so stupid.
Oh,
but
man.
It says so much more about the Wizards than Bam. Like, Bam is a good player. And credit to him for scoring 83 and credit to Spo for letting him just go out there and dominate.
Letting him just jack it up.
So funny that Bam Adebayo has the second most points in NBA history.
NBA history. Unreal. The Jets, they got Geno Smith back, Jay Rich.
Let's go.
They wrote. He didn't write back. He wrote back. They wrote back. He's back where it started. I was actually at the NFL draft where Geno Smith was drafted. I was there round 2 in New York, and he was booed heavily when he was drafted. Heavily booed coming out of West Virginia. And I think the same thing is going to happen. I don't think it's going to work out. No. And it has nothing to do with what Geno Smith is. I bet you fans are just like this is what we have. We already had this guy. I don't think it's going to work out very well. The Jets are destined to be picking high again. They're getting ready for 2027, Jay. I don't really understand a lot of the moves they've made throughout free agency. If you're going with Geno, why not just roll Fields back out there to let him run around for a little bit? Geno wasn't good last year. Thoughts on the Jets and Geno Smith?
Well, I think the funniest part about this whole situation, sorry, I'm trying to pull up their cap situation because...
Oh, go ahead. Take your time.
For anyone who missed this, right? They did not sign Geno Smith.
But they traded for Geno. Yes, excuse me.
But I do believe the Raiders are going to retain the majority of his salary and all those various things. But you have Justin Fields, who is the highest cap hit on the roster for the Jets this season, but is very unlikely to be playing quarterback for the Jets. The Jets are god-awful. They franchise tag Breece Hall. Why? Nobody knows. They trade for Geno Smith. Why? Nobody knows. They paying Justin Fields $23 million next year. Why? Nobody knows. But we'll see if it works out for them. They made some good signings. They've tried to bring in a lot of players. Trading for Geno is what it is. I think he can be the best quarterback on the roster fairly easily because Fields was just so bad.
Man.
But the question to you, Ray, is can Garrett Wilson be a top 12 wide receiver with Geno Smith?
No.
Not buying it, huh?
Nope. Just like last year, I wasn't buying it with Fields. I know it started off kind of good, but look where it ended. Who was right? Me. Let's move on, Jay Rich. Another player that was signed, not traded. Your squad, New England Patriots. Y'all got a new receiver. Wide receiver 1, Romeo Doubs, which we talked about on Monday, saying that Frisco would have been a nice spot. Lands in New England. How you feeling about your wide receiver room right now with Romeo Doubs, Kayshon Boutte, Kyle Williams, Chisholm, Mac Hollins, Pop Douglas? How we feeling for Drake May?
I'm fine with it, honestly. I think that Doubs is a good fit for this team. I like that there's already reports that they're not done looking around for receiver options, potential trades. And especially after the first day, Doubs was the best wide receiver on the market. And they went and got him, came in a fair price. He's not even a top 25 paid receiver in the NFL right now, and he just re-signed this year. So, because of that, I think it's a pretty good deal. He's a receiver who came from a committee approach, and I think it's going to be the same thing again this year, where it's a more committee-style approach at wide receiver and the pass catchers. So I'm more than fine with that. I think he's a good receiver. He'll provide a red zone element to the offense. I think that they do need a little bit, and I think it's kind of like having another Boutte on the other side of the field, so I think it will work out pretty good for the Patriots and Drake May.
Somebody said, just like you were right about Neighbors being wide receiver 1, LOL.
Damn.
He was hurt.
They're getting you for the receipts.
I mean, that's pretty low. He was hurt, but I was right about Puka Nacua. How about those apples? I was right about Kyron Williams. How about them? Go check the tape on Justin Jefferson. I was right then. I'm going to keep going because I can keep going. I can keep on going. All right? Who was right about Neighbors over Marv? Oh, might have been OGQ here. Eat that on a Thursday. How about that, Jay? Where we going now, Jay Rich?
You're on a tear. You tell me where we're going.
Yeah, man. Let's go. Let's keep it rolling. I think it's a good move. I think he's a good receiver. I don't think they're done. I wouldn't be done if I was New England. I would still try to upgrade the position. Because after him and the remaining assets, you're talking about players that didn't play a lot. Pop didn't get a lot of burn. Chisholm didn't get a lot of burn. Kyle Williams didn't get a lot of burn. Mac Hollins, we really going to buy that? You know, are we?
I mean, Mac was honestly like, say what you want about him, but he was fine in his role on the offense, right? Like, can't really, it's just because he is like playing so many snaps. I think people are like, holy crap, like why is Mac Hollins playing so many snaps? But he is actually pretty good and made his fair share of plays out there as well.
Oh yeah, Kevin, right about George Pickens.
I'm surprised you didn't bring up Pickens. I almost brought it up for you, but
you got to remind me because I mean, yes, there are some misses, but man, I just forget about the hits, Jay Rich. It's just, you know, the catalog is deep. Let's continue to roll. Free agency. Your boy Kyler Murray, Minnesota. Is that what's going to happen? Are we going to? He's visiting today, right?
Apparently visiting today.
Kyler is in Minnesota today, and again, here we are, Jay. Kyler Murray, Minnesota, and if he signs there, you know what? He's absolutely starting. There's no doubt about it. He'll be the starting quarterback for the Vikings this year. They brought back Aaron Jones.
That was surprising, right? They cut him and then brought him back.
No Jordan Addison gone yet, so it's the same offense. Hawkinson, you put Kyler out there, what are we looking like?
I mean, it's going to depend how quickly he learns the offense for Kevin O'Connell or Kevin O'Connell develops an offense for Kyler Murray, which seems like from a lot of people who've, you know, whether it's former players, etc., talking about this situation, that's more what's going to happen is that for Kyler, you have to work an offense that fits his style of play more so than trying to put him into your offense because he's just not that plug and play type of player. But if everything goes right, I mean, sure, they lost Jalen Naylor, but we're not worried about that. As long as they retain Addison, they have Jefferson. I think the combination of Mason and Jones is good. The offensive line hopefully can hold up a bit better than it did last year. And at that point, you have a pretty good team because you're going to be playing a lot of good teams in the Bears, the Lions, and the Packers. So I think because of that, the Minnesota Vikings with Kyler Murray are a much more dangerous team, and we'll see what they decided to do defensively because they did lose a couple players. I believe they just cut someone yesterday because they've had to shed some salary there. But getting Kyler's massive. It makes their team competitive once again, and I mean, unfortunately for J.J. McCarthy, it kind of buries him at that point. Are you buying, though, that he would look for backup opportunities? That was the other report about Kyler.
No.
Is that like he's probably going to go to the Vikings, but he's going to also explore potential backup opportunities?
I mean, I guess if a team doesn't pay him, sure, he'll find somewhere. I mean, he's getting paid a boatload of money to just chill anyway.
Yeah.
He wants to play. I think he wants to play ball. I know there was some stuff out there, him and baseball and yada, yada, yada. Yeah, maybe later down. Maybe way in another universe down the line, but Kyler wants to play football, so let him play football. Yeah. Naylor was Nine's favorite target. Yes, and now he is in Las Vegas. They needed a receiver. I don't think that is the one that they need to build around, but Jalen Naylor out of the building. Maybe that opens up some more stuff for Addison and Hawkinson because he always seemed to be catching damn touchdowns in Minnesota. Every time we look up, he's catching a doggone touchdown out there in Minnesota. What else do we have, Jay? Let me scroll up. Schefter's Falcons have released Kirk Cousins. So Kirk Cousins gone. Captain Kirk gone. He'll be on a new team.
That he might be the Steelers quarterback?
Oh, man. No, I did not hear
Your
that.
boy Mike McCarthy might bring in Kirk Cousins to be the new quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers if they can't get Aaron Rodgers back. And then Aaron Rodgers also, I don't know if that was the past couple of days or it was before like the Monday show that we did, where he went on McAfee's show and he was like, I'm going to take my time and all this stuff.
Oh, of course. We figured that.
Rodgers going to take his time once again, which is fine.
Figured that.
That's this year. I think it's more acceptable for him to take his time, do whatever he wants. But yeah, apparently Cousins may be going to the Steelers if
Bradley Chubb.
Rodgers doesn't go back.
Bradley Chubb to Buffalo.
This is a good signing.
Man, can he still play?
That's the question.
Can he still play? 29 guaranteed. They restructured Josh Allen's deal, and we were on with Mayo when that happened. I was like, uh-oh, is Buffalo trying to make a play? Are they making a play? Are they going to dump that 26th pick, go get Maxx Crosby now that he's available? They were making space for Bradley Chubb. 3-year, $43.5 million deal worth up to almost 53, and he gets almost 30 of that guaranteed. Rock Nation Sports, what do you think about the signing for Buffalo?
It's a great one, right? This is a team that does need pass rush. Bradley Chubb knows how to play in the AFC East, right? Very familiar with a lot of the quarterbacks he'll be going against, understands what needs to be done. And I think the other thing for him is like it's kind of getting back to when they were competitive in Denver too, and he was like the premier guy there. He's going to try and rekindle that back in Buffalo. I really like it a lot. I think it's a good signing for them. Low risk, not too much in guarantees, and obviously restructuring Josh Allen's contract helps a lot.
Jay, the Browns, their former first-round pick, offensive tackle Jedrick Wills is gone. He has taken his talents, 1-year deal to the Chicago Bears. Jedrick Wills to the Bears. I know he was injured, but he was, if I'm not mistaken, at one point a Pro Bowl, all-caliber type offensive lineman. Bears need some help. They lost their center, Drew Dahlman. I know this doesn't help that, but more protection and help for Caleb Williams.
Yeah, he's an interesting one because I saw Rich Dodson talking about him and said he's terrible.
He's terrible? Okay.
Notable Browns fan Rich Dodson said he's not very good. And the other for him is he's injured a lot.
He's injured a lot. Well, that's why I said he missed some time.
Years, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you who is not injured. There's one right there, Javon Hargrave. He is going to Minnesota, Packers. Green Bay, going to Packers. Okay, that was a big signing for the Niners a few years ago. He came from Philadelphia. Now he's on another team. He was in Minnesota. Now he's going to Green Bay, who they've lost D linemen. They've lost their whole damn defense. I mean, Quay Walker.
It's crazy how they've
Rashawn Gary,
everything
Kenny Clark,
that Kwesi did.
Everything,
every playing Kwesi had. J.J. McCarthy, the defense a certain way. Like, everything he tried to do, they're like, nope, didn't work. Go back to what we had before. Like, they're just erasing it all, getting rid of it.
All right, here's one that I did not like. I saw the news hit my phone, and I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Osa Odighizuwa, Dallas's defensive tackle, gone. They shipped him off to the 49ers for a 3rd-round pick.
What do you think of the compensation? Because you said you didn't want to move him.
I didn't want to move him.
3rd was reasonable, though.
It just means they're definitely bringing back Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark is back. Kenny Clark is back. It'd be Clark. It'd be Quinn Williams. I thought they would roll with Williams and Osa, but
are they
traded
getting
for a 3rd-rounder.
Ammo for Crosby, maybe?
I hope not. I hope not. I hope not. I hope Jerry does not go out there and do something stupid to get Maxx Crosby.
I mean, it's a good trade for San Francisco.
It's a good trade for, I think it's a great move for San Francisco.
You put him a comp pick.
You put him up there. Remember, they got Alfred Collins last year out of Texas who came on late. You get back Mykel Williams, their 1st-round pick out of Georgia, who missed a lot of the time with the ACL. You get Nick Bosa back, and you had Osa up front with a healthy Fred Warner. I bet you who's happy is Fred Warner. Who's happy is Nick Bosa. Mykel Williams off the edge. So this is a really good move for San Francisco. We'll see what Dallas does. I'm not sure what they're going to do here. Our boy. This is our boy.
Sir.
This is our boy, our homeboy, and one of the content creators over at DD. Shout out to my dog, Gene. His brother, Charles Omenihu, is going to the Commanders. Okay, so Charles Omenihu, is a friend of the show, family for us, because that's our boy, Gene. His brother, he is signing with the Washington Commanders for $7 million. There it is right there. Shout out to the Omenihu family. Love those guys. Love them. Talking through Kyler right here. Anything else from Schefter? We got some Maxx Crosby. There is the Keaton Mitchell news. J. Rich Keaton Mitchell, former running back of Baltimore, speed, big play guy, going to Los Angeles. Max value of $11 million, 5 guaranteed for Mitchell, who's been a part-time running back who suffered a devastating knee injury to turn around and get paid here. Good work for him. And I like the fit in LA. They've completely revamped the offensive line, probably not done making additions there, draft some guys later to develop, but they are absolutely trying to make sure Herbert is upright and you've got rushing lanes for your running back. Keaton Mitchell with Mike McDaniel. Jay, that's again, a poor man's great value, Devon Etienne.
I think it makes sense, right? You already have Hampton there, the kind of do-it-all running back, explosive, catch passes, all those various things, and you bring in Keaton Mitchell that can be that dynamic weapon that McDaniels used to having when he was in Miami, and Devon Achane. I think it's a really good fit for both sides, and it's a pretty decent amount of money, too, to give to Mitchell, who, I mean, for the majority of his career, has either been injured or just playing behind good running backs, and now he may have a chance to kind of star a little bit more in this Chargers offense.
Oh, there it is, and then we've got Orlando Brown, offensive tackle, going back to the Bengals on a 1-year deal. Were there any big moves that we failed to touch on that happened?
Alex was asking about Michael Pittman Jr. and your thoughts on this new-look Steelers offense.
Yeah, we got to talk Pittman Jr. and we didn't talk about Tyler Algier. So let's go Algier. Algier signed a 2-year deal in Arizona. I don't think they're taking Jeremiah Love at 3. Probably going offensive line. Algier in a backfield with James Conner and Trey Benson, he is what?
He is another guy, another cog in the machine, right? They brought in Gardner Minshew. They have Jacoby Brissett. People, I think we got a super chat about that, asking about Marvin Harrison
I got
Jr.
it. Mm-hmm.
And with that offense, it's going to depend on how good it is, right? Like, we know their offensive line is terrible. Drafting an offensive lineman will probably help that a little bit. But even with that, like, Algier has been a committee back for a while. He had 1,000
yards. He had 1,000 yards
as a rookie when no one else was there on the Falcons. Like, it's a very different situation here that we're talking about. And to be fair, I like Algier. I would have liked him a lot more in Seattle, where a lot of people were hoping he would go to kind of be the feature back while whoever it is who's injured, I forget it. It's Charbonnet, while Charbonnet is injured. But now he'll, in theory, work with Connor. I don't know if he's behind Connor. But the real loser is Benson, because like Benson's not going to play now. They're going to play Algier. They're going to play Connor.
Yeah. Yep. There was another pedestrian running back signing, but it was a great mercenary hire because he was dirt cheap. Isaiah Pacheco goes to the Lions, Jay Rich, to pair up with Jahmyr Gibbs. They needed another thumper running back now that David Montgomery is out and down in Houston. So Isaiah Pacheco took his talents from Kansas City to Detroit. But yes, let's talk about Michael Pittman and the trade to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittman and DK Metcalf. I will say this. The lasting images of the Steelers offense that I remember in my mind seeing was Aaron Rodgers trying to throw slant routes to a wide receiver smaller than me. And his little arms couldn't catch the ball. Calvin Austin couldn't extend. It didn't work. And you're watching it, and they bring in an Adam Thielen. They try to go sign. It was very obvious that they were lacking wide receivers in the worst way. You look at Michael Pittman's physical stature and you're like, man, they got 2 big wide receivers. They do the same thing, but they don't. Michael Pittman is much more proficient in the short and intermediate areas of the field than a DK Metcalf. And I think that's exactly the type of receiver an Aaron Rodgers needs. Somebody that can win quickly on a slant, hit the out route and be open, do some stuff in that short to intermediate area to allow DK to do what he does best. I love the fit. We don't know who's playing quarterback. If it's Cousins, I think it works. If it's Rodgers, I think it works. Long term, it's better than what it was last year. Already, it's infinitely better than what it was last year with Michael Pittman. I think he can be a high volume, high target guy in this offense. Big question. It's the elephant in the room for Pittsburgh is who's playing quarterback. We don't know yet. We're speculating. If it's Rodgers, I think it'd be a good fit.
Yeah, I think the hard part with this situation is like the Colts, the Steelers are just kind of like signing players to make the team a little bit better than it was, but we don't really know if they're actually going to head the right direction to be successful. Losing Mike Tomlin is going to be a big loss. We'll see what this defense does. But like, they didn't just trade for Pittman. They also gave him a 3-year extension for $59 million. Now, I haven't seen the full guarantees on it. I looked it up right now. They're not out yet. But even with that, like, Metcalf and Pittman is fine. You're totally right. He fits what they need in the areas of the field. But if it's Will Howard at quarterback, I mean, dude's just collecting a check at that point.
He's a national champion.
Will Howard is a national champion. And it is unbelievable that Ohio State didn't win the national championship this year. With how good, like, just look at the draft picks alone.
Did you see that video of Jeremiah Smith and Chris Henry Jr.?
No.
You haven't seen? Oh, Jay, I got to show it to you. I got to show it to you. See if there's any other free agency news that we didn't hit on. I got to show you this.
Jason's talking about J.K. Dobbins re-signing with the Denver Broncos, which is fine. I think they were a good pairing.
Yeah, I think that's good.
And J.K. and Harvey is a good backfield. Now, I don't know if it necessarily stops them from going after running back there, but I do think that it's a pretty good signing. They brought up Aaron Jones in the chat. We kind of talked about him when we were talking through the Minnesota Vikings there. And then apparently David Njoku was released as well, which... Again, we'll see where he ends up, right? Because David Njoku is a great talent, but things kind of didn't work out in Cleveland for whatever reason. So what is this video you got from me?
There's number 4. That's Jeremiah Smith, the number 1 overall pick probably next year. And there is Chris Henry Jr., number 15, that makes Jeremiah Smith look small out there. He is the son of, rest in power, Chris Henry, who was a very talented wide receiver that came out of West Virginia, played for the Cincinnati Bengals. He is his son, Chris Henry Jr., and they are going to...
Was he the number 1 receiver in the country?
He is very good. Jay Rich. Chris Henry, Booby Feaster. Right? Feaster was a 5-star too, and he's at USC, so I don't know if it's Booby or Chris Henry, but number 15, and he's got to make Jeremiah Smith, who's 6'3", 220, look like this is a 6'5", 210 now. He can get up to 220 pound NFL pedigree wide receiver. Just very excited for next year's NFL draft class. I don't know if you saw this, but I had to pull it up.
Big Julian.
Big saying.
Julian better show up.
You better go super.
A lot of questions. Yeah. A lot of questions about your boy Julian saying.
It's not my boy. Not my boy.
But that defense, though, losing a lot of pieces.
Losing a lot. Yeah, Pac-Man Jones was very instrumental in Henry's life. Dobbins re-signed. David Njoku released. We're still waiting on Kyler Murray. That's kind of the big domino to drop. And, I mean, Rachaad White there's still a lot of free agents that have to be signed. I think they'll just be sporadic at this point. People are going to take their time, find the best fits, and we move forward with the NFL draft. Just your initial thoughts on this period and what you liked. Just right off the rip, what teams do you really like what they did throughout free agency?
I think San Francisco had a really good free agency. I really like what the Patriots did in their signings, even though they weren't the sexiest signings ever. They brought in good players.
Of course you did.
They brought in good players, right? Mm-hmm. You look to the Raiders, getting Linderbaum was huge. The Maxx Crosby thing was unfortunate, but it is what it is. They still brought in some good players. On top of that, the Jets brought in some talent as well. We'll see what they can do with their defense because we know they're shifting from a 4-3 to a 3-4. We didn't even really talk about Malik Willis because I don't think either of us really care.
We'll see
what happens.
I wouldn't say right? I don't care. We'll see what happens.
We know what this team is, and they're terrible. There's just not a whole lot to see here.
Yeah, your Patriots, Kevin Byard, DeMontre Jones, Romeo Doubs, Elijah Vera Tucker. It's not a big haul, but I like the players.
Yeah, they all fit to what they need, right? Byard is going to be the free safety back there and do a lot of good things. Like the Jets brought in a ton of guys, right? We'll see what Baltimore does.
I'll tell you who I love. I'll tell you who I loved. I'll tell you which team. Zion Young going to Cleveland was nice. Look at what Cleveland did. Titus Howard, Tevin Jenkins, Zion Young, Elginton Jenkins. I think he's from Green Bay. I think he was the O-lineman from Green Bay, I believe. Mm-hmm. But let's go to the AFC West, Jay Rich. The AFC West and talk this team. Absolutely love. Ingold, Kohler. I know Penning wasn't great, but you got to bring linemen in. Cole Strange, Biotish, Pipkins, Khalil Mack coming back. Love what the Chargers did. They went out and they spent big money. I thought they had a very good period during the free agency time. Jacksonville, I think the Jags. Tennessee as well. I like what the Titans did. Right? They had a lot of money to spend. You go out and get Wan'Dale Robinson. You trade for Jermaine Johnson, John Franklin Myers, Solomon Thomas, defensive line depth, Cordell Flott, one of the bigger free agent cornerbacks on the market. Real good find by the Giants there. Alontae Taylor, Josh Williams. I like what the Titans did as well. Some of these teams going out there spending, and of course the Raiders when you get Linderbaum and you bring back a Malcolm Kuntz. I think those were good moves by the Raiders as well. Anyone else?
I think for me, the funniest part, Ray, is that because of all the movement there was in the NFL at the coaching ranks, it really felt like college, where it's like, You're finding all these former connections. The Titans poaching Giants players, and then they're also poaching ex-49ers, right? And players who played under those head coaches. And then you see Baltimore poaching or the Giants poaching players from Baltimore, and just like all the movement where it's like all these players are moving to play with their former head coaches. I think is kind of the funniest part, and just feels very college football-esque because you have coaches moving and then bringing a whole bunch of players with them to the next school.
Let's see what my Cowboys did. Sam Howell. And
Javonte was a big signing.
Javonte was good.
The problem is you need the George Pickens sign, and it is not.
I've got nothing to say about the Dallas Cowboys today. Okay, Rich.
Nothing.
We did have a super chat though, so let's pull that up. We had a super chat in the comment. Appreciate y'all for sending that in. Let's see what we got. This is from Tyler. Tyler, what's the outlook for Marv this season with a year of Brissett, Minshew? What would you be comfortable selling or buying for? Is he cooked? I don't think he's cooked. I don't think he's cooked. You say he's sort of cooked? Talk about it.
I think his value is sort of cooked, right? Because if you say to someone, they come to you, they say, I want your Marvin Harrison Jr., and you say, give me a first, they're going to say, hell no.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because you're not getting a first for Marv. You're just probably not.
Mm-hmm.
If I have Marv, though, I'm holding him. I'm holding him because of LaFleur. I think LaFleur will do his best to feature him because he was the 4th overall pick. And I'm sure that Steve Keim, whether he's going to give him an extension or not, wants his value to go up from where it is right now.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think because of those things, he's going to have an opportunity to prove once again why he was such a high draft pick. And I do think if there's one thing I will give a lot of credit to.
It would have been nice for him to prove it like 2 years ago, but that's okay.
For sure. But I think the one thing we've seen from the McVay tree is a lot of those coaches know how to feature talented wide receivers, right? Pretty much across the board. They know how to feature receivers. They know how to get them open. They know how to utilize them to their strengths. And I think LaFleur will do a good job of that. Now, again, is Marv his guy? That's the big question. Because maybe Michael Wilson's his guy. Because Michael Wilson looked pretty good last year.
Trey
McBride will be heavily involved. So it's tough. I think he's sort of cooked.
I was looking for him. I ran some projections for Arizona last night. I was tinkering with some stuff, and I mean, he was okay. Like it wasn't great for him in his outlook next year. It's hard to be confident
because you don't know if he's the 2 option or the 3 option.
Or the 1. By one, I don't mean McBride. I mean the one receiver.
I was talking behind McBride guaranteed. Then is he the wide receiver 1 or the wide receiver 2?
Yeah.
And even if it's a 1A, 1B at wide receiver with him and Wilson, that's not good because you have McBride. If it was just the 2 of them, like in the way that sometimes Jordan Addison can outperform Justin Jefferson, okay, that's fine. Like that just is what it is. Most of the time it's Jets, sometimes it's Addison. But when you have McBride too, I think it complicates things a lot because he is going to be the number 1 piece.
Got him at about 14 points per game next year, Jay, for Marv.
It's like fine.
On the high end. About 14 points per game. And that was with Kyler at quarterback.
It's his low like 8?
His low is 10.5.
That's not terrible, but not great.
Yeah. But I need to rerun it because that was with Kyler at quarterback, not Brissett.
That's it. And I think the other side of it too is that you can't fall in love with the pass rate from last season.
I know. Because they're not going to throw that much anymore.
Like maybe crazy. They're that bad, but I'd be kind of shocked personally.
Okay. All right. Hit the music, man. Appreciate y'all tapping in this week. Free agency stuff. We got a lot more coming. Y'all know we don't stop. We are here every week. It doesn't matter if it's free agency, ain't shit going on. We'll find something to talk about. So thank y'all for rocking with us this week. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the thumbs up button. Check out the content. Join the community for free. Join our Discord. Jay Rich had dropped the link in this chat. We'll post it in the comments of the video as well as the description. It's a free tier. You can get in, see what we're all about. I promise you will be like, oh yeah, I want to hang out in this place. I want to hang out in this space. And then you'll just bump up and pay that $7 and then you get all the good shit, rankings, articles, bonus podcasts, bonus shows, and a dope community of people who love the NFL, college football, and fantasy football. For Jay Rich and I, we will be back on Monday, 8 a.m. Central Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check out all the other content on the DDFFB Fantasy channel. Have a fantastic weekend out there. Be safe and wake y'all ass up on Monday with me and Jay Rich. Much love. We out of this thing, Jay. Tell the people we out, baby.
We out.
Peace.